You didn't wake up this morning feeling powerful. You woke up feeling tired, maybe a little numb, maybe asking yourself why life feels heavier for you than it seems to be for everyone else. You try to do the right thing. You try to stay faithful. You try to keep your heart clean, but somehow you still feel alone. Not physically alone all the time, but emotionally, spiritually, like no one really sees what you carry. Like no one truly understands how much effort it takes just to keep going. You've probably asked yourself questions you don't say out loud. Why do I feel different? Why do I feel separated even when I'm surrounded by people? Why does it feel like I'm always the one giving, understanding, enduring, while others seem to move forward so easily? This is the uncomfortable truth you need to hear. The loneliness you've been experiencing is not random, and it's not because something is wrong with you. It's because something is right with you. Divine calling often begins with isolation, misunderstanding, and quiet suffering. Before God elevates a person publicly, He separates them privately. You didn't choose this distance, it chose you. You've noticed it over time. Certain friendships faded without drama. Conversations stopped flowing the way they used to. People you once related to no longer resonate with you. Even family members may look at you like you've changed, and they're right. You have. Not because you wanted to, but because obedience always alters a person from the inside out. And here's the part that hurts: people don't usually celebrate that kind of change. They question it, they mislabel it, they misunderstand it. You may have been called cold when you were simply discerning, arrogant when you were simply quiet, distant when you were simply protecting what God was doing in you. This season has forced you to sit with yourself. No distractions, no applause, no constant reassurance. Just you, your thoughts, and God. And some days, that silence feels unbearable. You wonder if God is still speaking, or if you missed Him somewhere along the way. You pray, but the answers feel delayed. You stay obedient, but the results feel invisible. This is where many people give up, not because they don't love God, but because they're tired of feeling alone. But listen carefully, this isolation is not abandonment. It is alignment. God often removes external voices so His voice becomes clearer. If too many people understood you right now, they would try to access what you're still being prepared to carry. If too many people supported you emotionally, you might depend on them instead of developing spiritual endurance. So God allows misunderstanding. He allows distance. He allows you to feel unseen, not to hurt you, but to strengthen you. You are learning how to stand without leaning. This is especially important because the blessing God is preparing to send into your life is not small. A billionaire's blessing is not just money, it's influence, responsibility, visibility, and spiritual weight. If God gave it to you before your identity was anchored, it would expose your weaknesses instead of fulfilling your purpose. That's why this season feels like pressure. You're being tested in ways no one claps for. How do you respond when no one checks on you? How do you behave when obedience costs you relationships? How do you treat people who misunderstand you? These moments are shaping your capacity. Heaven is watching how you handle obscurity, because obscurity is the training ground for authority. There have been moments where temptation whispered louder than truth. Moments where it felt easier to compromise just to feel connected again. Moments where you considered shrinking, softening your convictions, or blending in just to stop feeling so alone. Don't do it, no matter the price. This is not coincidence. This is divine intervention. You are standing at a turning point, and the enemy knows it. He doesn't need to destroy you, he just needs to distract you long enough to delay what God is releasing. That's why the loneliness feels intense right now. That's why the doubts come in waves. That's why your emotions feel stretched. But here's the reassurance you need. You are not being ignored by God. You are being guarded. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, it is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 27, verse 10. When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. This is not symbolic language. It is spiritual law. When human support reaches its limit, divine support takes over. When people step back, God steps closer. You are being carried in ways you cannot yet see. This season is teaching you discernment, how to recognize who belongs in your next chapter and who was only meant for the previous one. It's teaching you restraint, how to speak less, listen more, and move only when God gives the signal. It's teaching you strength, how to keep your heart soft without becoming weak. And here's the truth most people don't realize until later. The loneliness ends the moment the assignment begins. Once the blessing is released, your life will no longer be quiet. That's why God makes sure you know how to function in silence now. That's why He's building depth in you instead of hype, substance instead of speed. If you feel this message deep in your chest, it's because it's speaking directly from where you are right now, not where you pretend to be. This is for the ones who kept going without recognition, the ones who stayed faithful without feedback, the ones who obeyed even when it felt like obedience was costing more than it gave. Before you move on, take a moment, like this message, share it with someone who feels alone in their calling. Subscribe so you stay aligned with what God is unfolding in this season and at the very end. Comment the number 77 as a sign that you choose purpose over comfort and obedience over belonging. You may not see it yet, but wealth has been moving toward you long before you ever thought about money. Not because you chased it, but because something in you attracts responsibility. You've always been the one people leaned on in crisis, the one who saw solutions where others saw chaos, the one who felt uncomfortable benefiting alone while others struggled. That wasn't coincidence. That was evidence. Here is the truth many never hear. God does not send resources to impress people. He sends them to position people. Wealth, in its purest form, is a tool, and tools are drawn to hands that know how to use them without worshiping them. You were shaped early to understand loss, pressure, and scarcity, not to traumatize you, but to teach you discernment. You learned the value of things because you knew what it meant not to have them. You learned restraint because excess was never guaranteed. That education was not financial, it was spiritual. Money responds to mindset before it responds to effort. The reason wealth is chasing you is because you do not idolize it. Even when you desire abundance, something deeper in you wants impact more than image. You don't dream of money just to consume you. Dream of what it could fix, build, protect, and restore. That posture matters in heaven. God will not place massive provision into a heart that only wants comfort, but He will entrust it to someone who understands that provision is assignment-bound. You have also noticed a pattern in your life. Opportunities appear unexpectedly. Favor shows up in strange ways. Doors open that you didn't knock on, and yet, just as quickly, some of those doors closed again. This wasn't failure. This was filtering. God was showing you what you could access, without yet allowing you to keep it. Exposure before possession, vision before ownership. This is how desire matures without becoming obsession. Another uncomfortable truth is this: your integrity is expensive. You have walked away from shortcuts others gladly took. You have said no when yes would have paid faster. You have chosen the long road when compromise would have delivered immediate gain. And sometimes you wondered if that decision made you foolish. But heaven was taking notes. Wealth that comes from God must sit on a foundation that does not crack under pressure. And pressure always comes with visibility. That is why your character has been tested so aggressively. You were tested with disappointment to see if you would grow resentful, tested with delay to see if you would grow impatient, tested with lack to see if you would grow dishonest. Every test was connected to future capacity. You cannot manage abundance if scarcity still controls your emotions. You cannot lead systems if rejection still dictates your identity. You cannot steward billions if validation still drives your decisions. Wealth is chasing you because you have been learning how not to be owned by it. You may have noticed that people often project their fears onto you. When you speak about vision, they call it unrealistic. When you talk about growth, they call it pride. When you dream beyond survival, they tell you to be grateful for less. This resistance is not about you. It is about exposure. Your thinking threatens environments built on limitation. And limitation hates expansion because it reveals stagnation. So God has been teaching you to move quietly. Silence has protected you from premature warfare. Not everyone needs to know what you're building, what you're believing for, or what God has shown you. Wealth moves faster when it is not announced. Favor multiplies when it is not explained. And timing matters more than talent. You are not late. You are hidden. There is also a spiritual principle at work that few understand. Money follows trust. Not human trust, divine trust. God looks for individuals who will not replace him with the blessing once it arrives, who will not loosen their convictions once comfort increases, who will not forget the source when streams multiply. You have proven, often painfully, that your faith does not disappear when answers are delayed. That consistency is rare. That is why responsibility is increasing around you. Even now, you may feel the weight of expectation without yet seeing the reward. That weight is not anxiety, it is expansion. Your capacity is stretching, according to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs in chapter 3, verse 9. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. This is not merely instruction, it is revelation. Wealth begins responding the moment God knows he will still be honored after it arrives. When your priorities remain intact under pressure, provision accelerates. This is why the blessing will not arrive in chaos. It will arrive with clarity. It will come when your identity is stable enough to survive success. When applause no longer intoxicates you. When criticism no longer destabilizes you. When loss no longer terrifies you. You are also being positioned among systems, not just people. The wealth coming toward you is tied to structures, businesses, platforms, ideas, networks that require wisdom more than hustle. God has been sharpening your perception so you can see leverage where others see risk, timing where others see delay, alignment where others see coincidence. Nothing about your journey has been wasted. Even your failures trained you. Even your missteps taught you humility. Even the closed doors saved you from rooms you would have outgrown too quickly. The wealth chasing you is responding to the version of you that exists now, not the one you were years ago. And here is the final truth you need to anchor. Wealth is not running toward you because you asked for it. It is responding because you became someone who could be trusted with it. The blessing is not the reward. The blessing is the responsibility. And you are closer than you think. Right now, your instinct may be to pray for change. Change in circumstances, change in people, change in pressure. You want movement because stillness feels uncomfortable. Waiting feels unproductive. Silence feels like stagnation. But here is a practical instruction that will protect you from delaying your own breakthrough. Don't rush to ask God to change the situation until you've examined what the situation is testing. Many people fail not because God withholds answers, but because they skip the exam and beg for graduation. This season is not asking for louder prayers. It is asking for sharper awareness. There is a difference. When God wants to move you quickly, He changes your environment. When He wants to root you deeply, He keeps the environment the same and changes you. That is why the pressure hasn't lifted yet. That is why the pattern keeps repeating. That is why the same type of challenge shows up wearing different faces. Instead of saying, "God, take this away," a wiser question is, "God, what is this here to reveal?" This is where practice begins. Start by noticing what triggers you emotionally. Not the event itself, but your reaction to it. Is it impatience when progress feels slow? Is it fear when control slips away? Is it resentment when others advance faster than you? These reactions are diagnostic tools. They point directly to areas that still need strengthening. God doesn't expose these weaknesses to shame you. He exposes them so they don't sabotage you later when the stakes are higher. A billionaire-level blessing magnifies everything it touches. Strength becomes influence, but insecurity becomes destruction. That is why God insists on tests before transfer. Another practical discipline in this season is restraint. Not everything you feel needs to be spoken. Not every battle needs to be confronted. Not every delay needs to be explained. You are being trained to pause before reacting, to listen before responding, to discern before deciding. These pauses are not passivity. They are power under control. Ask yourself honestly, are you trying to escape the test, or are you trying to pass it? Because escape brings relief, but passing brings promotion. Look closely at repetition in your life. Repeated financial pressure, repeated relational strain, repeated moments where you must choose between integrity and advantage. Repetition is not punishment, it is reinforcement. Heaven is waiting for consistency, not perfection. God is not asking you to get it right once. He is asking you to get it right again. That again is what builds trust. Another instruction: stop measuring progress by visible change alone. Internal alignment often precedes external movement. You may feel like nothing is happening, yet your discernment is sharper, your boundaries are firmer, your reactions are calmer. That is progress. Invisible progress is still progress. In fact, it is the kind that lasts. You are also being tested in how you interpret delay. Delay does not mean denial, it means development. The space between promise and fulfillment is where discernment matures. If God fulfilled every prayer immediately, you would never learn how to hear Him beyond outcomes. But now, you are learning to recognize His voice in silence, His guidance in restraint, His approval without applause. That is dangerous territory for the enemy. Practical step audit your obedience. Not your intentions, your actions. Where have you been half obedient? Where have you delayed because full obedience felt inconvenient? Partial obedience keeps you in partial blessing. God is not looking for dramatic gestures. He is looking for alignment in small, consistent decisions. Another step: evaluate your relationship with pressure. Do you see it as an enemy or as training? Pressure reveals structure. Weak foundations crack. Strong foundations compact. The pressure you are under right now is compressing you into something more resilient. That resilience is required for what is coming. And here is a crucial point many overlook: do not ask for increase while avoiding responsibility. Increase always brings exposure. Exposure brings scrutiny. Scrutiny brings pressure. If you are asking God for more while resenting the responsibility you already carry, heaven will wait, not to punish you, but to protect you. The test you are in right now is quieter than you expected. There are no thunderclaps, no dramatic ultimatums, just daily choices, daily attitudes, daily responses. This is how destiny is decided slowly, privately, consistently. The ancient words recorded in Romans still echo today. It is written in the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Notice what changes first. Not the world, not the system. The mind. Transformation begins internally before it ever manifests externally. When your thinking shifts, your positioning shifts. When your positioning shifts, provision follows. This is why impatience is dangerous in this season. Impatience tempts you to shortcut growth. It convinces you that relief is better than readiness. But readiness is what keeps blessings from becoming burdens. So slow down, examine, learn, adjust. You are not behind. You are being calibrated. Before moving forward, there is one intentional action I want you to take. At the end of this message, comment a single phrase with no more than 3 words: I pass tests. This is not for performance, it is for precision. By writing it, you are reminding yourself that this season is not random, it is instructional. You are choosing awareness over frustration and alignment over urgency. At some point, you begin to realize that the rules you were taught about money no longer fit what God is doing in your life. You were raised to believe that survival is success, that stability is the goal, that having just enough is wisdom. But the calling on you keeps pulling beyond that framework. Not because God wants excess for ego, but because He wants influence for impact. This is where alignment with kingdom economics begins. Kingdom economics does not start with accumulation, it starts with authority. You are learning that money in God's system is not a reward for effort alone. It is a response to obedience. That's why you've seen people work harder than you yet stay stuck, while others receive sudden acceleration with less visible struggle. Heaven does not measure output the way earth does. God looks at alignment before He releases assignment. When your values match His intent, provision finds you. This is also why frustration has crept in at times. You can sense that you're meant for more, yet you refuse to chase it the way others do. You don't feel peace cutting corners. You don't feel right manipulating system. You don't enjoy gaining at the expense of others. That inner resistance is not weakness, it is calibration. God is teaching you how to prosper without disconnecting from purpose. In kingdom economics, increase flows through stewardship, not ownership. You don't possess resources, you manage them. And how you manage little determines whether you're trusted with much. That's why God has been paying close attention to how you handle what seems insignificant. Small opportunities, quiet responsibilities, unseen decisions. These are not delays, they are audits. Another principle you are learning is timing. Earth teaches urgency, move fast. Grab now, secure quickly. Heaven teaches discernment, wait, watch, listen, then move decisively. Many blessings fail because they arrive before the recipient is positioned correctly. You are being trained to recognize when to act and when to stay still. This patience is expensive, but it protects you from costly mistakes. Kingdom economics also reframes giving. Giving is not loss, it is alignment. When you release resources with the right heart, you are not decreasing, you are signaling trust. God responds to trust with responsibility. But this giving is not reckless or emotional. It is intentional, discerning, and led. You are learning to separate generosity from people-pleasing. One is powerful, the other is draining. You may have noticed that as your understanding deepens, your circle tightens. Not everyone understands this way of thinking. Some will accuse you of changing. Others will say you're becoming too serious, too focused, too disciplined. What they don't realize is that discipline is what makes freedom sustainable. God is not removing joy from your life, He is removing chaos. There is also a shift happening in how you view authority. You no longer see it as domination, but as responsibility. Authority in God's system exists to serve, to protect, to build. That is why you are being taught humility alongside ambition. Ambition without humility creates tyranny. Humility without ambition creates stagnation. God is forming balance in you. As you align with these principles, resistance often increases. Systems that benefit from disorder feel threatened by someone who moves with clarity. People comfortable with compromise feel exposed by your consistency. This is not a sign to retreat. It is confirmation that alignment is working. You are also beginning to understand that wealth in the kingdom is multidimensional. Financial provision is only one stream. There is also wisdom, favor, access, insight, timing, and protection. You have experienced moments where things worked out that shouldn't have, where problems resolved without struggle, where you were spared from losses you didn't even see coming. That is kingdom economics at work, benefits that cannot be tracked on a spreadsheet. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy. It is written in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 18. But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. Notice the wording. Ability comes before wealth. Capacity precedes currency. God does not just give resources, He gives the power to generate, sustain, and steward them. This is why your mind has been stretching. Ideas have been forming, perspectives shifting. You are seeing connections others miss, solutions others overlook. These are not random thoughts. They are tools, and tools are given before the assignment begins. At this stage, alignment matters more than speed. You are learning to ask not just, "Can I do this?" but, "Should I?" That question will save you from detours that look profitable but lead nowhere. God is not interested in making you rich and lost. He is interested in making you effective and anchored. As this message unfolds, take a moment to recognize what God is already doing in you. If this resonates, a simple way to stay connected is to like and share it with someone who is quietly navigating their own calling. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing, not out of obligation, but as a way of staying aligned with messages meant to strengthen discernment and clarity in this season. You are not late, you are not confused, and you are aligning. Kingdom economics is not about chasing money. It is about positioning yourself where provision naturally flows because heaven trusts you with it. And that trust is being built right now, one aligned decision at a time. There is a moment in Scripture that reveals a truth many people experience but rarely understand while they're inside it. It is the moment when Haman realizes that Mordecai is rising and that his rise cannot be stopped. What looks like sudden favor is actually the result of long, unseen faithfulness. And what looks like an enemy's confidence is actually panic disguised as power. Mordecai did not chase position. He did not manipulate the system. He did not campaign for recognition. He simply stayed loyal when no one was watching. He refused to bow when it violated his convictions. He sat at the gate, doing his duty, day after day, without applause. And for a long time, it seemed like his obedience was overlooked. Haman, on the other hand, rose quickly. He had title, influence, access. People bowed when he passed. His name carried weight. From the outside, it looked like success. But there was one problem he could not control. Mordecai would not bow. One unmoved man exposed an unstable empire, and that resistance ignited something dark in Haman, not confidence, but rage. This is how it often works. When God begins to elevate you, not everyone will cheer. Some will panic, because your rise threatens systems built on ego, fear, and manipulation. Haman wasn't angry because Mordecai was disrespectful. He was angry because Mordecai was free. Free from needing approval. Free from fearing power. Free from selling his convictions for safety. That freedom is dangerous to insecure authority. You may not realize it yet, but some of the resistance you've been facing is not because you are doing something wrong, it's because something is shifting in your favor. When God prepares to elevate someone, He often exposes the fragility of those who benefited from them staying small. Your growth disrupts arrangements you were never meant to sustain. Haman tried to destroy Mordecai quietly at first, then strategically, then violently. He built gallows meant for Mordecai, convinced that he could control the outcome. But what Haman did not understand is this: when God decides to promote someone, the traps set for them become platforms instead. The very structure built to end Mordecai's life became the instrument of Haman's downfall. This is not poetic justice. This is spiritual law. You don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to expose every enemy. Some conflicts are resolved not by confrontation, but by elevation. When God lifts you, certain attacks lose access automatically. Doors close without you touching them. Voices fall silent without you responding, and plans collapse without you interfering. Notice something important: Mordecai was elevated not in secret, but publicly. The king ordered Haman himself to honor the man he despised. This is how God deals with hidden hostility. He doesn't always remove the enemy immediately. Sometimes, He forces them to witness the promotion they tried to prevent. That kind of exposure is terrifying to the proud. If you've sensed envy, subtle sabotage, or unexplained resistance as you've grown, this story is not ancient history. It is a pattern. When your assignment becomes visible, insecurity reacts. When your favor becomes undeniable, false authority trembles. Not because you are aggressive, but because you are consistent. You stayed faithful when it didn't benefit you. You kept integrity when shortcuts were available. You refused to bow to systems that required you to compromise your soul. And now, momentum is shifting. That shift creates panic in places that once felt comfortable controlling outcomes. The story reaches its turning point when the king cannot sleep. A small detail with massive consequences. Insomnia in a palace changes the fate of a nation. God doesn't always need dramatic miracles. Sometimes, He just needs someone important to stay awake long enough to remember what was forgotten. Mordecai's loyalty was recorded, even when it wasn't rewarded. That record became the key to his elevation. Hear this clearly: obedience leaves receipts. Heaven does not forget faithfulness. Delay does not erase documentation. What was written will be read at the right time. As the story unfolds, Haman's panic intensifies. He rushes, he overplays his hand, he exposes his intentions. Pride accelerates his downfall. This is what happens when someone builds their identity on control instead of character. When control slips, everything collapses. You are watching something similar unfold around you, even if you can't fully name it yet. People who once ignored you are suddenly reactive. Those who dismissed you are now paying attention. The atmosphere has changed. That change is not random. The Spirit spoke through the prophet as recorded in the book of Esther. It is written in the book of Esther, chapter 6, verse 11. So Haman took the robe and the horse, and arrayed Mordecai and led him through the city square, proclaiming before him. This verse is not about humiliation, it is about reversal. God has a way of flipping power dynamics without asking your permission. The lesson is not to celebrate anyone's downfall. The lesson is to remain steady while God reorders the board. Mordecai didn't gloat. He didn't retaliate. He simply stepped into the role he was prepared for. That restraint matters. Elevation without maturity becomes revenge. Elevation with maturity becomes responsibility. You are being called to respond the same way. As your influence increases, resist the urge to explain yourself. Let consistency speak. Resist the urge to defend your character. Let time testify. Resist the urge to confront every enemy. Let God handle exposure. Panic belongs to those who know their foundation is weak. Peace belongs to those who know their promotion is anchored. And here is the part you need to internalize. Haman noticed Mordecai long before Mordecai noticed Haman. Envy watches quietly before it acts loudly. Don't be surprised if opposition appears suddenly. It has been observing longer than you think. Your role is not to shrink, it is to stay aligned. At the end of this message, comment the number 999. Not as superstition, but as a declaration that you trust God with reversals you cannot orchestrate yourself, that you believe elevation does not require retaliation, and that what was meant to trap you will become testimony. By now, you understand something most people never do. Receiving a blessing is easier than carrying it. Increase is exciting, but stewardship is sobering. This is where many promising lives quietly fracture, not at the moment of lack, but at the moment of overflow. God knows this. That is why before anything massive is released into your hands, He trains you in how to hold weight without letting it change who you are. Stewardship is not about money management alone. It is about self-management. You are being shaped to remain grounded while surrounded by abundance, to stay disciplined when options multiply, and to stay obedient when independence becomes tempting. Wealth amplifies whatever already exists in a person. If pride is present, it grows. If fear is present, it spreads. If compassion is present, it expands. That is why God does not rush this stage. He refines the container before pouring the contents. You may have noticed that your desires have been maturing. Things that once excited you now feel empty. Attention no longer satisfies. Recognition feels fleeting. Even comfort has lost its charm. This is not burnout, it is discernment. God is rewiring your reward system so that purpose, not pleasure, becomes the anchor. This shift protects you from becoming addicted to outcomes instead of obedience. Another lesson you are learning is boundaries. When resources increase, requests multiply. Expectations rise, access becomes demanded rather than requested. Without boundaries, generosity turns into depletion. God is teaching you that saying no is not selfish when it preserves the assignment. Stewardship requires the courage to disappoint people in order to remain faithful to God. You are also being trained in anonymity. There will be seasons when you do good that no one credits you for. Seeds you plant that others harvest. Impact you make without attribution. This is intentional. If you need recognition to remain faithful, wealth will destabilize you. But if you can remain obedient without applause, God knows He can trust you with visibility later. Notice how much emphasis Scripture places on faithfulness in small things. This is not metaphorical, it is mathematical. Small decisions compound, daily disciplines scale, integrity repeated over time becomes authority. You are being asked to master consistency, not intensity. Anyone can do the right thing once. Stewardship is doing it again, and again, and again, especially when no one is watching. Another hidden test in this season is emotional regulation. Wealth brings pressure disguised as privilege. Decisions carry weight, mistakes cost more, criticism grows louder. You are learning now how to remain calm under pressure, how to separate facts from feelings, how to pause before reacting. These skills will save you later when consequences are amplified. God is also teaching you the difference between ownership and assignment. What you carry does not belong to you, it flows through you. This mindset keeps you from becoming possessive, defensive, or fearful of loss. When you understand that provision is entrusted, not earned, you hold it with open hands instead of clenched fists. Open hands receive more. You may find that God has been quietly testing you with influence before money. People listen to you, seek your advice, trust your judgment. That is not accidental. Influence is a form of currency. If you misuse influence, financial increase would only magnify the damage. So God watches how you speak, how you lead, how you correct, how you serve. Influence stewardship precedes financial stewardship. There is also a lesson in sustainability. Burnout is not holy. Exhaustion is not proof of devotion. God is teaching you rhythms: when to work, when to rest, when to push, when to pause. Sustainable impact requires sustainable habits. You are being prepared not for a moment, but for longevity. Flash success fades. Faithful stewardship endures. You might feel at times like progress is slower than it should be. But what is being built in you is deep, not fast. Depth takes time. Roots grow in darkness before fruit appears in light. The discipline you're developing now will protect you from collapse later. Many people pray for expansion without preparation. You are being prepared quietly. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Luke, it is written in the book of Luke, chapter 16, verse 10. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. This statement is not symbolic, it is structural. Trust scales. Faithfulness multiplies. What you demonstrate in obscurity determines what you are entrusted with in visibility. You are also learning to separate identity from output. You are valuable even when you are not producing, loved even when you are resting, accepted even when you are waiting. This security is critical. Without it, success becomes a drug and failure becomes a threat. With it, both success and failure become teachers instead of masters. Stewardship also means knowing when to delegate. You are not meant to carry everything alone. Control masquerades as responsibility, but it limits growth. God will place people around you who complement your weaknesses, challenge your blind spots, and strengthen the mission. Learning to trust others without surrendering discernment is part of your preparation. Finally, you are learning humility that is not performative, not self-deprecation, but clarity. Knowing who you are without exaggeration or denial. Understanding your role without inflating it. This kind of humility stabilizes success. It keeps your feet on the ground while your reach expands. The billions God entrusts are not just numerical, they are generational, systemic, restorative. They require wisdom, restraint, compassion, and courage. You are not being delayed, you are being trained. And when the time comes, you will not be surprised by the weight because you have already learned how to carry it. There comes a moment quiet, unmistakable, when you realize the blessing was never chasing you for your comfort. It was pursuing you for your commission. All the isolation, the discipline, the restraint, the misunderstood seasons, the delayed gratification, they were not detours. They were the corridor leading to dominion. This is the crowning moment, not because you are finally seen, but because you are finally ready. You are stepping into a phase where clarity replaces confusion, not because everything is explained, but because your spirit is settled. You no longer need constant confirmation. You move with conviction, not impulse. You decide with wisdom, not fear. This is what authority feels like before it looks like anything on the outside. A crown in God's system is not decoration, it is responsibility. You are being commissioned to operate differently from the systems you came from. Where others hoard, you circulate. Where others exploit, you build. Where others dominate, you steward. This is why your journey never mirrored those around you. You were never meant to win by their rules. You were meant to redefine what winning looks like. This commission reaches beyond money. Wealth is simply one language God will use through you. Influence is another. Discernment is another. Access is another. You are being placed at intersections between people and solutions, between resources and needs, between vision and execution. That positioning is intentional. God does not place light in isolation. He places it where darkness once felt permanent. You may feel a holy tension now, a sense that what worked before will no longer suffice. Old habits feel small. Old goals feel shallow. Even old prayers feel incomplete. This is not dissatisfaction, it is expansion. God is stretching your vision to match the scale of your assignment. You are being invited to think generationally, not momentarily. With this commission comes accountability. You will be held to a higher standard not by people but by God. You already feel it. Conviction comes quicker, discernment sharper, the margin for compromise thinner. This is not restriction, this is protection. The more authority you carry, the more precision is required. You are also learning how to stand without comparison. Other people's success no longer threatens you. Other people's failure no longer flatters you. You have exited the competition mindset and entered the assignment mindset. When you know what you're called to do, distraction loses its grip. This is where many misunderstand the blessing. They assume the reward is arrival, but the true reward is alignment. Being exactly where God wants you, doing exactly what He designed you to do, with exactly what you need to do it. That is wealth in its highest form. As your life expands, resistance may still appear, but it will no longer destabilize you. You have been trained to recognize panic masquerading as power, noise masquerading as authority, and urgency masquerading as opportunity. You move slower now, but more decisively. You speak less, but with weight. You act fewer times, but with lasting impact. You are becoming someone others will misunderstand at a distance, but trust up close. This is also where legacy enters the conversation. Not fame, not headlines. Legacy, what continues when you are not present. What strengthens others without your involvement. What reflects God's nature even when your name is forgotten. This is the measure heaven uses. And here is the truth that grounds everything. The blessing was never about proving you were special. It was about proving God is faithful. Your life becomes evidence, not of perfection, but of obedience sustained over time, of faith that endured silence, of character that survived increase. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, it is written in the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 21. Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. This is not about praise, it is about placement. Faithfulness qualifies you for governance. You are not stepping into spotlight. You are stepping into stewardship as this chapter unfolds. Remember where you came from, not with shame, but with gratitude. Remember the nights you doubted, the days you waited, the moments you chose integrity when no one would have known otherwise. Those memories will keep you grounded when influence grows. If this message has walked with you through these sections, if it has clarified something already stirring in your spirit, a gentle way to support and stay connected is to like and share it with someone who is quietly carrying responsibility. And if you choose to subscribe, do so not out of obligation but alignment, so you remain connected to words meant to strengthen clarity, discipline, and purpose in seasons ahead. You are not being rushed. You are being released. The crown fits because the head was prepared. The commission stands because the character was formed. And what God is entrusting to you now will not destroy you because it will move through you. You are ready. Before you move on, don't rush to close this moment. You don't need to feel overwhelmed. You don't need to feel certain about every next step. All that matters right now is that something inside you has been stirred, not emotionally, but quietly, steadily. That kind of stirring doesn't demand an immediate response. It asks for awareness. Let these words sit with you as you return to your day. Pay attention to what lingers. Pay attention to what feels heavier and what suddenly feels lighter. Sometimes clarity doesn't arrive as an answer, it arrives as calm. Sometimes direction doesn't come as instruction, it comes as confidence to wait. You are not required to act, explain, or announce anything. What is unfolding in you does not need validation to be real. If you choose to like or share this message, let it be because it resonated, not because you were told to. If you move on quietly, that's just as meaningful. The important thing is this: you are no longer unaware, and awareness changes how you walk, how you decide, how you listen. Whatever is next will meet you at the right pace, and you'll recognize it when it does.